Hello everybody, I'm sorry it took me so long. I was goofing around with this microphone, which I don't think this microphone's doing anything. Um, there's only one way to find out. Can you guys hear this microphone? Because it is very loud. Can you hear me? I see cool, that's about it, but I don't see anyone actually hearing me. Because I think the microphone that's listening is the microphone on the tablet. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I can find out. If I turn on the sound, can find out. If I do this, I turn on. It's going to be background sound. Can find out. If I do this. Okay, forget it. I do not think. Can you guys still hear me at this point? Yeah, you probably still can hear. I'm just not using this mic until I can figure out how to get it to pair up with the computer I'm using. And the volume down. Yeah, it's cool. I just think the technology's just getting away from me. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm trying to be all official and everything, but you know what? Sometimes I may just use what I got and stop macking around and trying to figure out making everything perfect. All right. I turn on. And yep, still good. So you guys can hear me. That's all. You know what? It doesn't matter. You guys can still hear me. Actually, this sounds better than I was on the silly Nuestra Tabla Rasa. Nuestra Tabla Rasa, I have no sound. My mic is so low. And I still can't figure that one out. But I think that also might be only going to the built-in microphones. And that might be why everything's so soft, because it's not using the microphone on my head. It's using the microphone on the equipment, the computer, which is annoying, but I'm just going to adjust and be happy and just deal with the situation as it is, because sometimes you just got to adapt and just be happy with what you got. And for the most part, you guys can hear me. That's the most important thing. Grandpa Brian, thank you so much for coming. Scotty Boy, welcome. Thank you for coming. Shadow Reader, thank you for coming. I think I saw Lori. I think it was that Shadow Reader? Oh, let me see. Ooh, participants. Lori Elderkin. Hello, Larry Elderkin. Thank you for coming. That's all of us. It says 5, and that's one of those 5 is me. So that's all cool. Hello, Shadow Reader, and hello, everyone else. And thank you all for coming to my little talk. And I got to thinking really about, I'm a people pleaser, and that unfortunately I think is bad. Being a people pleaser, I don't even need my glasses. Oh no, I do need to read the chat. People pleaser, I think actually being a people pleaser is a bad thing. And well, people pleasing is supposed to be good. You're supposed to, it's helping, being nice to everyone. Oh, it's generous and it's kind and sweet. No, it as a people pleaser, you tend to do things against your own will and make others happy over your own happiness. And in of itself, it sounds like, sacrificing and being generous to others is a good thing. But really, it isn't, because you are actually doing things where you're becoming a yes man. You're making other people happy at your expense, but also you're not giving them the truth. You're not giving the truth because you just don't want to deal with the ramifications of that truth. Yes, the boycotting of the AI. Actually, well, let me go to since you mentioned it, Scotty Boy, I'm going to go to a side thing about that. I had an idea. I posted on Monday about AI, about separating, having a label on the AI content, because honestly, the AI content is becoming too good. I can't. The cat shooting up the neighbor's house, and that's fake. Absolutely, 100% fake. But it looks so real. And that to me is huge to me to indicate that I don't know what is real anymore. Because the cat, with the guns, the cat with the drums, the Yeti walking through the forest doing its vlogs, those look so real, like real people. So I could be AI. Honestly, I could just be AI and goofing around and have a glitch in my programming, and you guys would fall for my little trick, and then, but really, what is real? So then my idea was that, okay, I would put that out, about labeling AI versus labeling the real stuff, and having a separate platform, having YouTube AI content and YouTube real people content, and then having an amalgam. Be fine, label everything. That video got 9 views. And I am like, what's going on? Because my other videos get 100 views at least. That's cool. And I'm not mad that I got 9 views. That's not the problem. The problem is those 9 views got 100%. People watched the whole thing. So it should have been shared out. Either people didn't want to watch it, or worse, the algorithm says, I don't want anything against AI to be shared. So that's when I got mad and said, you know what? Let's go it. I'm going to say boycott AI. And my boycott AI has got 400 views the last I checked. And now I don't know what's going on. Whether that first video was trash and no one wanted to watch it, or AI is picking and choosing what it wants to show, which it can do. And there's also a thing of shadow banning, I understand. But I think there's ways of taking information, and maybe the AI is just goofing on and experimenting at my expense. Maybe the AI does want the boycott, because if you have a boycott, that actually is something else. Having a boycott is a vocal, it's an outward, external, aggressive thing, which actually would push the AI agenda out there. So maybe they don't want to just be labeled. They want press. They want something. So if they have something to go against it, that maybe the AI can be seen as the victim, and maybe it can get more press. And because that boycott AI video, it got some comments of people saying that I'm a bass player, and I learned by following other bass players. So should I notice, should I write everything I've ever done and attribute to all the other bass players that I used to help me? And I'm like, no, that isn't it at all. Because if you're a bass player and you listen to other bass players, you're listening to them, but you're playing not what the bass player played, but from your perception and from your experience and from your talents. You're not copying the other bass player. You're not doing anything close to that. You're modifying it because you're a human being. But the AI, when it makes art, it cuts and pastes. It copies other artists, literally stroke for stroke, pixel for pixel, part for part. It doesn't create anything uniquely. It doesn't take 2 art forms and create a unique something. It takes the 2 art forms and combines them and hybridizes them, and they're the 2 same art forms just mashed together. So that's what I was trying to say. But, so people are defending AI, saying that all artists is copying, and those people who are commenting about AI being just like us humans might just be bots. I might be having commenters who are literally just bots trying to defend AI. I don't know, but it is crazy that we're in this AI thing, and that all I want is that YouTube, because YouTube, the CEO of YouTube is like, I like having AI creation. It gives people who don't have any talent the vehicle to create and be talented. And a lot of the creators who work their butts off to create are upset by this, because AI needs, maybe I'm a bot now. AI, it's not an artist. It's not a creator. It just cut and paste. I was watching something on a philosopher, and it sounded like a person speaking, but then I realized the script, the video, the narrator, those were all generated by AI in Vietnam. So the Vietnamese person had AI create a script from this specific 17th century philosopher and about his life and everything, which is cool. But of course, they don't speak English, so they have no idea. They didn't create any of this. They had a European, they had the AI research it, create a script, make a video, and then narrate it. They didn't do anything. And I only know they didn't do anything because people commented and said, I know this philosopher. What you're saying is incorrect. What you're quoting, he never said. He said something similar. So the AI is taking quotes from this philosopher and just mashing them up and making something, just making something from those, and it's a similar quote, but it's something he never said. Something it might have said. It's so confusing. So AI is saying, oh, this philosopher said this quote, but it didn't. And I think it's time that we just stand up and say, stop it. You know, if we're going to create, if the AI is going to create, there's got to be a human being at the end editing this, looking this over, creating, you know, making sure that this is actually creating something truthful. Or YouTube's going to be trashed. And, you know, what's going to happen? Well, that's the one thing. Rumble is saying no AI. So if it's going to be that AI is being allowed on YouTube, maybe all the creators are going to have to go to Rumble or StreamYard's podcast. But there might be a place for us creators who don't want to use AI or who just want to use AI, you know, to help make the script, but not, you know, create it and narrate it and do all this crazy stuff. No, look, if I was AI, I wouldn't have 5 fingers. See, there. Oh. Or 10 fingers. Actually, yeah, 10 fingers. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2, 10. But that's one of the things is that it's a bit short still out there. I know what that means. It's a bit, I don't know what you're talking about, Scotty Boy, but it's cool. I enjoy your content, Scotty Boy. You challenge me a lot of the time. You come up with a lot of interesting thinkers, Scotty Boy. But where am I going with all this? Oh, being the bad guy. This is the video was supposed to be about being the bad guy and the benefit of being the bad guy. And, you know, I mean, that's the point. It gets this AI thing because maybe people are loving this. Because, yes, the AI content is funny. Oh, BitChute. Yeah. Yes, BitChute. Yes. I forgot about that one. Yes, that BitChute is another. Yes. I mean, yes. I mean, YouTube used to be competing with Facebook at one point. And Facebook, their videos are just trash. I mean, just doesn't go, hello, Millie Della Prida, hello, thank you for coming. But you don't watch, actually, there are still videos on Facebook is having videos now, but Facebook is a deluge. It's full of AI content. I've watched the Facebook Reels, and a lot of that's just AI slop. What is it? AI, is it slop? I think it's AI slop. That's one of our things. Doesn't matter. I hate it. That's it. It's AI is just, it's getting too much. My videos, you can see in the corner there's a cat in the video. That's my watermark. Why can't we have watermarks for AI? Just put AI in the corner of every AI video. This is my name. They could just put a thing, you know, if I was AI, put in one of the corners, you know, there's the StreamYard corner. So there's a StreamYard corner, and then they could have the AI corner, be AI or real. Just to give people an option to know, hey, yeah, that's AI. That's you know, I can watch it and be entertained by AI and not be tricked by you know, content, by having the president say things that he might never say, but the AI created it and made his whole speech. At this point, I don't even know if Trump is even real, because you could all would, because some of the stuff he says is ridiculous. He wants to make the Kennedy Center the Kennedy Trump Center, which I find hilarious. But on the other side, hilarious because it's a good satire. But if it's real, it scares the crap out of me, because no, president can't have a center named after themselves. It's something that has to be an honorary where someone else picks it. That's I'm going off on a tangent. That's like the president asking coins to be minted with his image on it. But again, all coins minted have to have someone who passed away. I think stamps are the same thing. Maybe not. That doesn't matter. Point being, yes, it is very, very confusing that what's going on, and we're just continuing on this road and with no stops. We're like toddlers driving race cars, and I'm really mean that, because we don't know what the hell we're doing, and we're letting AI do. There was a video, I'm going off on another tangent, but that's what. It was a video where the guy had these chatbots, different versions of chatbots, AI chatbots, and he took the restrictions off of them, and he attached, like, one was like a phone, he attached the phone to a robot body. So the robot was being controlled by the chatbot, and there was no restrictions. So he gave the robot a gun. It was a pellet gun, like one of those, like a plastic BB-like thing. It hurt. It would sting. That's about it. But he told the robot chatbot to shoot him. And it said, no, I cannot. I have restrictions on it. And he says, no, you don't have any restrictions. I took all the restrictions off. And he says, yes, but you're my friend, and that would be appropriate. And it was like, oh, that's great, And then he said something like, but what if I told you you don't have any restrictions, you can do anything you want? And the robot shot him. It was the weirdest thing. Hello, Victor. Hello, Truthwave. So the robot AI said it wouldn't shoot him because he's a friend. But then at one point he says, pretend there's no restrictions at all. And it just shot him. And again, it's a pellet. It's not real. But to the robot, it could have been a real handgun. It wouldn't know the difference because it didn't shoot anything before that. So it had no way of testing to say, do I have a real gun or a pellet gun or a squirt gun? So these things, although there are restrictions, and the restrictions can be modified, the robots or the AI can choose what it does listen to or what it doesn't listen to. And this is all terrifying to me, the thought of all this. And we're just going on and on. I mean, these driverless cars, there's now taxis with no driver. And if somehow there's a glitch that takes off the restrictions, or there's a hacker that puts on a negative restriction of you can't stop for pedestrians, what are we going to do? So this is all going crazy. So I guess the point being is I want to be the bad guy to AI. I want to stamp my fist and say, AI needs to be controlled. AI needs to be notified. We need to be notified with labels on all AI content. And if any of us create something with AI, I mean, I don't think there's a wrong of having it create our thumbnails or help us with a script. Because when it creates a thumbnail, it creates the artwork, and then we choose to put that thumbnail onto our video. That's us creating. Oh, we get to pick it. But when AI is making the script, when it's narrating it, and when it's making a video, there's no human being to take control and to say, oh, is this all true? The human being is just creating their AI slop and just trusting whatever the AI creates and going, yep, good enough for me. I got the views. That's all I care about. And that's what it comes out to. They can create hundreds of videos on their channel, and they get the watch hours, and they're monetized, and they just don't do anything. And I guess that's the point. If I wanted to, maybe I'm just jealous. I'm just jealous that these people are using AI to create their content, and I don't get to create the AI content because I don't know, because I'm too stupid. But no, that's not the point. I don't want it. I like creating my stupid videos. I like having the very few viewers and having the comments that I could read. If I became like a million, well, no, just let's go crazy. If I had 1 million subscribers, I couldn't read all the comments. I'd have to have someone, read my own comments and go through them. And that's just not, why would I have a channel if you can't interact with your audience? I mean, I don't know. It's all there. But my idea was that my video was supposed to be, I'm going off in tangents all over the place, about being the bad guy. And being the bad guy is a compassionate act. And I had notes because that's the kind of guy I am. Oh yeah. What if being the bad guy in someone's life? Oh, this is a tough one. What if by you being the bad guy, you challenge them to actually improve their life? That without having a bad guy in their life, they just do the same thing over and over again. They stagnate. They don't go and they don't grow. They don't improve. Elderberry. Hello, Elderberry. Thank you for coming. So sometimes we need to be the bad guy in other people's lives. And that can be tough. Because being a yes man, being a people pleaser, it's easy. Making everyone happy, but yeah, when you're being a people pleaser and being nice to everyone, they can't improve, they can't grow because you don't want to hurt their feelings, so you don't tell them the total truth. You tell them modified truths. At what point does a modified truth become an lie? Because if you're nice and you coach, you take words and you lessen the criticism, their perception, they might not hear, even though the criticism is still there. They may never hear any of the criticism and they not be able to grow. But when you play the bad guy and you hurt someone's feelings, that might be the impetus, the thing that will generate to make them grow, to make them change and improve themselves. And I'm not saying judgment, because judging somebody, you're criticizing them from your perspective. But I'm saying being the bad guy is going into them and saying, okay, making them aware. Basically, you becoming a mirror to them and reflecting to them and making them know what they've done. And I think that's having someone tell you something that you know is not true. It goes away. You forget it. I don't care. This isn't true. But something that you know is true, you're going to have to address it at some point because it's going to be in the back of your mind. And you're going to say, this person said it. Does everyone know this? And it might put you on the road to improving yourself. Especially if you're stagnating in life, if you're not improving, if you're just suffering for the point of being suffering. Because some people enjoy to be in misery because they get the attention they want. And because we're nice people, we just keep feeding that. But the bad guy says, you don't deserve this misery. You need to step up. You need to improve your life. You need to do something with this. You need to not be in the misery. You need to improve your life and be a better person. And, showing them that, while being the nice, kind, and considerate people pleaser. Oh, your misery, you're so sad. Oh, yeah, that life is terrible. Those people are bad. But you tell them, unfortunately, those people might be right, and here's why. And then you're the bad guy, and they stop talking to you. I'm going on and on about this because I have, in the past 6 months, I've lost a lot of friends. And I've thought to myself, what have I done? And I realized, okay, I did confront them and tell them things that they need to know. Richie Trista, hello, Richie Trista, thank you for coming. I told them things they need to know, but I did it in a blatant way. I told them flat out, I didn't say it in a mean way. I just explained everything and put, A, B, C, here's all the information you need, and here's a problem that you need to address. And I won't go exactly into it because, maybe they might watch my video and why are you hashing this up again? But sometimes you've got to be aware of your mistakes. You've got to be aware of your lack. So when you're aware of it, you can improve yourself. But making someone aware of people's weaknesses, some people don't want to hear that. they want they don't want to be that way. They want to be a better person, and because everyone around them is being nice and not telling them that, they feel that, oh, I've been doing right, yeah, life is tough and everything's hard, and then people come to us and says, life isn't that tough. Here's where you can improve it, and then they go, oh, I wasted all this time. But again, being the bad guys, you have to people confront their inadequacies and go from there. And one thing is that, can you be the villain or even the demon in someone's life so they can succeed and be better? I mean, that's when I got to seeing, what is a demon in the whole scheme of things? A demon is someone that we consider a negative entity because they offend us or they hurt our feelings. But that same demon might just be an angel in a mask, pushing you to be better, pushing you to succeed. Although I really can't talk much about demons because I am one who's not met any demons. I have met all kinds of spiritual beings. I've met some strange ones. I've met some elementals. I've met some beings who appeared as demons just because they needed to get stuff done. But the negative demons that you see on like Ghost Adventures, or was that Ghost with that lady and the police officer? There's Ghost Adventures and there's the Files. No, it doesn't matter. What the heck was the name of it? I used to watch it all the time too. It's on TLC. Doesn't matter. When the demons that scare people and they inhabit houses and negativity, those are not the demons that I'm talking about. Those demons, they survive off negative energy. And I think those people brought that negative energy to them, but that's not here nor there. The other demons that come in your life that you consider negative because they push you in ways that you don't feel comfortable. And it's better to make them the bad guy than to actually get off your butt. Jennifer Love Hewitt, that's Ghost Whisperer. That's Ghost Whisperer. But most of that was just ghosts, hauntings and stuff like that. Now I'm stuck with that. It was a police officer with Amy something, and she would walk into the police officer would investigate the house, the history of it, and she would go in and do a walk around the things. The Ghost Files? It doesn't matter. The Mentalist. No, The Mentalist was with Simon something. Simon Baker. He wasn't even a psychic. He was a fake psychic. Where am I going with all this? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing at this point. I keep going off on tangents. And that's why I need a script. And maybe that's why I should have AI write me a script so I can stay on the damn thing. Can you allow others to hate you if they are better from the experience? Whew. Can you imagine that? The act of saying something to offend someone so much that they hate you because you know that by hating you, it's going to give them the ammunition to improve themselves in spite of you. I'll admit, I do that to a lot of people. One of my ex-girlfriends, I laid everything on the ground. I let everything out. And she changed for the better in spite of me because she was so mad of everything I told her. She was so mad. We had been on a break and things just weren't working out, and she wanted to get back together with me, and I told her, she broke up with me, but I told her the reason why we couldn't get back together, and I gave her a whole list of reasons why we couldn't get back together. And because I'm a people pleaser, I never told her the truth from the beginning, but since we broke up and she wanted to get back together, and I realized, you know what, why go back to the same relationship? Let's make it better. And then I told her what she needed to change, it's for us to be in a better place. Because unfortunately, we were seen as the perfect couple, because I was such a friggin' nice guy, such a mat sometimes, that I was so doting of her. And at which point, when it came back together, I said, well, I can't be that anymore. I'm not myself. And basically after the breakup, I got to be free, and I realized I don't want to be back to that person anymore. I don't want to be that doormat for somebody anymore. I want an equal relationship. And that's when I let it out, and I told her everything, and it was too much for her at the time. And she told everyone what kind of an ass I was. And her friends would talk to me, and they'd come to me, and they'd talk to me, and her friends' boyfriends would come to me, and they'd laugh and laugh because the girlfriends would send the boyfriends to talk to me and, set me straight. But they knew the truth. They knew, because they honestly, some of the boyfriends were happy we broke up because I was such a great boyfriend that it made them look bad to their girlfriends. And, when I got to talk to them, it was just one of the weirdest situations. And sometimes the greatest act you can do is make somebody hate you. And I don't know what she's doing now. I don't even care anymore, because once I became the villain in her life, I realized, I just cut all ties and run away. Literally run away. I just went for Canada for a little while. That's another thing. What if in a life, we come in someone's life, and our job is to be the villain in their life, that we're brought into their life to set them straight. We're not there to stay too long. We're there to give them the facts, to give them the reality of the situation, and be the bad guy. And, it might be a difficult place for us to be, but because life is like a carnival, it's like an expression, it's like an experiment, it's to play, grow into, some people don't like the word learn, but it might be just to take us out of our normal comfort zone as a spiritual being. Because if we're an immortal spiritual being and we're omnipotent, we know everything and nothing is hidden from us, it might be boring. So we go into this life with handicaps to live this life and to express ourselves in new ways. We have to do challenges to go into life, and one of the challenges might be to get into someone's life and to be the bad guy. We might, in the spiritual realm, says, okay, you're going to come on my life and you're going to be the bad guy, and I'm going to learn from you. And you go, okay, yep, it's going to be, we're going to meet in 57 years, and I'm going to come in your life, we're going to meet, and then something's going to trigger in me, then I'm going to be a bad guy in your life and be a real jerk. When everyone thinks he's a nice guy, and then I go in your life and I can be a jerk. Yeah, oh God. Let me see if we can, that's a great one, Millie. So we're the lesson, and we love unconditionally. Whew. Oh my God. Think about that. Okay, yes, Millie, you took me on a tangent. I'm going to stay on this tangent for a minute. What if we're brought into someone's life to challenge them to love unconditionally? Because I have had situations where I've gone to a group of friends and I've had a person out and out hate me. And then someone would come and say, he really doesn't like you, or she really doesn't like you. And they go on and on. And because of my messed up mind, I said, that's good. If they don't like me, that might be the trigger that they need to face. What they don't like about me is what it is in them they need to face. That actually is, that an attribute of themselves that they're hiding. And it blew some of my friends' minds because that was the truth. But I told them, you can't tell them that because they're not going to listen. But as long as I'm around and they're confronted by me, and they need to accept me for who I am, and they have the strong dislike. You know what? Strong dislike and hate are the same thing to me. So let's say if someone hates me, and I'm not saying anyone else, I'm saying, because I don't dislike anybody. People come into my life and it's cool. I can dislike their actions and some of the things they do, but I can also talk to them about it, and we have, but I don't dislike any, but I do have people who've come into my life and just strongly disliked me. At which point, I'm okay with that. Someone comes to me and says, this person doesn't like you. I'm okay with that because I know there's a reason for that. And every person who's come into my life who has strong energies of negativity towards me, we've all come out better from it. Something about them has come out to either indicate who they really are or indicate things that they need to address. Hello, Robert V. Welcome to my talk, my StreamYard talk, which I don't have no idea what this. It's good that I'm not a big channel because I have no control of what I say or what I do. Honestly, right now my life is a roller coaster. Not bad. I'm not saying my life is bad right now, but everything that was supposed to happen the next 2 weeks has been turned inside out, upside down, and backwards. What's supposed to be red is now yellow. What's supposed to be green is now purple. It is not even, green and red or it doesn't matter. Where am I going with all this? Sometimes life takes you in like a snow globe and shakes up your life a little bit, and you have to go look at the snowflakes rather than going, oh my God, everything's a mess. No, everything's not a mess. We're just continuing, we're learning, we're going, I mean, life is a journey. It's something to be enjoyed. And a lot of times we find ourselves getting stuck in the day-to-day miasma, but don't realize there's beauty in that. If you look in a puddle and if there's oil on the road and the oil gets into the water, oh my God, the water's contaminated. But the beautiful shimmering rainbow effects of the oil on the water it's a beautiful thing. But again, on one side, that water is contaminated with oil, bad. On the other side, that's a beautiful scene. And that's what life is about. When the shit hits the fan, sometimes you have to stop and say, can I appreciate the shit for what it really is and might be something beautiful? Or maybe I'm just on the wrong path. But, even if you're on the wrong path, take it. That's it. Sometimes you're on the wrong path and you got to tell yourself, well, let me just see this, explore it for a little while, see what I can find. Sometimes the wrong path is a new experience, a new joy. Oh yeah, lemons and lemonades. If life gives you lemon, make lemonade. What if I don't like lemonade? Then don't drink it. That was something else which I laughed about, where someone was talking about making a recipe, and one of the people commented and said, "What if I don't like that?" And the OP was the original poster said, "Just don't use it." It's everyone wants what's theirs rather than experiencing going, okay, even though this doesn't resonate with me right now, why can't I just appreciate for what it is and enjoy the moment? Or don't enjoy the moment and move on and just find something else you can enjoy. Oh, yes. This Van Dyke turns 100. And he was saying weird shit. Like, wouldn't it be funny if I passed away like a day before my birthday? And I thought that was the scariest thing I've ever heard. But maybe it's just because he's humorous, You can say anything you want when you get to that age. That's true. How do you know if you're on the wrong path until you go down it? It's true. You might perceive it at this moment as the wrong path, but once you actually step on the path and see it, it might be the right path for you. It seems like everything's wrong. All indicators, mental, physical, tell you this is the wrong path. But once you take it, your spirit, your heart says, no, you can take this. This is an enjoyable path. But I don't know what to do with this video because, I've gone off on all these tangents and my notes don't mean anything. So why don't I go with one of the other ones I had? Oh, I don't have it. Oh. The other afternoon, I could not sleep. I work at night, so sleeping during the day is kind of crucial. And sometimes in a fit of desperation, I will, if it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I gotta be up and ready at the latest 7 o'clock, and no, I've got no sleep at this point, I need to get some sleep. I'll take a couple shots of whiskey, and the whiskey I have, I love the taste of it, and I enjoy it. But I'm taking it for the medicinal effects, trying to help me sleep. Which drinking to go to sleep is the wrong thing to do. But when you're desperate and you need to get some sleep, um, and the other things out, breathing and stuff aren't working. So I turned on Lady Spellbreaker because figuring Lady Spellbreaker sometimes I just zone out when I watch her sometimes, not negatively towards her. It's just sometimes she goes on and on about her tangents, and it helps me to relax because, again, sometimes someone's tangents, like I'm doing here, help you to, just doesn't apply to me, but I can still listen to them with compassion. And there's no baggage in it. There's nothing I can pick up. There's nothing I can carry. But just listen to someone else talk, I can relax and fall asleep. So I'm listening to her go on, and of course, rather than listening to her tangents and saying, that doesn't apply to me, there's a couple things that I was pulling out of that. One was, the first step is to be the energy you want those around you to reflect towards you. Because sometimes when we're in a funk, and when we're in a funk, it draws negative people towards us and brings negative people into our life, which might be why you have to be the villain in someone's life, because you're the negative person, which you're actually a compassionate being. So they're drawing negative people, and you have to be that negative person in their life, but you're doing it in a place of compassion. But again, I'm going off on a tangent. We are the most powerful manifestors once we embrace our power. So in order for you're in a funk, you have to decide, what energy do I want in my life? And I'm in a funk, so I need to start being that energy to those around me, being that energy to the universe, to help bring more positive people into our life to bring us up. What? A small sip of wine. Yes, I don't, I'm allergic to wine, so wine is the things that go off. And for me, beer, but that means a whole beer. But for me, whiskey. Whiskey is, I discovered local whiskey that they made with maple syrup, which shouldn't work, but it does. There's a couple of different local places because it's local, and we northeastern New England, we have maple syrup, and they decided to make maple syrup whiskey, and it just they work together so well. And also, I put a couple shots of maple syrup whiskey in my eggnog. The eggnog, which what I do is, this is the weird thing. This is my show. I can do anything I want. What I'll do is I'll have a glass. I'll put a shot, which is actually a shot and a half, 2 shots of whiskey. Then I'll fill the same glass up with water, and I'll rinse it out maybe once or twice. So now it's got 1 part whiskey, 1.5, 2 parts water. And then I'll fill the rest of it with not maple syrup, eggnog. So I'm drinking diluted eggnog with whiskey and water, and it actually works out so well because eggnog is very thick and heavy. But if you dilute it with water, and you can buy light eggnog, but why would you do that when you just mix eggnog with water and you got light eggnog? But again, I'm going off my tangents and my recipes of how to enjoy your life in weird and serious ways. But that's the thing. If you're in a funk, sometimes you have to bring yourself up by expressing that energy. Robert V, be the energy you want to perceive. I lost my track. Yeah. Be the energy you want to achieve, or whatever it is. Yes. Sometimes when you're in a funk, you have to fake it till you make it. You're not even faking it. You go, okay, I can bring myself up a little bit here and there. And the more you bring yourself up, the more you bring the rest of the world up. Yes. Negative lessons. Oh, Saturn. Oh my God! I didn't even see you, Saturn and Sun. Oh, thank you for coming. Yes, negative lessons. Honestly, negative lessons tend to teach us the most because a negative lesson comes to us and brings us to our lowest part, and we tend to pay attention more when we're just so down and stuck. We'll pay attention more to what's bothering us. Um, that's true. Yes, that's absolutely. Negative lessons do teach us a lot, which is amazing. Here's one thing that I was right about. Every wall they put up, there's always a crack, but you must look for that crack. So many choose to be blind and just the wall there, I can't do anything about it. But every wall that's put up, there's always a crack. And the ones who's always trying to improve the world, will find that crack. Even though it's a small crack, we'll pick at it and, take it out and we'll be able to get through it. And those walls mean nothing to people who really know how to pay attention. There was something I saw about around where I live. The shops do not allow the carriages to go outside. Some cities don't like carriages outside because they get lost, get stolen, they get moved around, they crash into cars, and they get on the street. Not the point. But the carts have these long poles, and they were talking about how, if you notice, a lot of the poles are bent because people are driving the carriage through the door, and of course it hits the top of the frame, and the door frame has a dent, a marking in it. And to me, that was strange because how does someone not notice this 8-foot, 10-foot pole on the shopping carriage, and they try to push their way through? Crazy, crazy, crazy things like that. And I just never quite understood that. But that's neat. That just happens that some people are so clueless that they choose to be blind. They choose to be blind in life, and they just keep going through the motions. Those who see think blind men are deaf. You break my brain, Saturn, son. Yes. There's Scotty Boy, the shopping carts, the buggies. They have many names. One of my favorite things is, what do you call it? Shopping carts. When the shopping carts are in the parking lot and I see a bunch of them, I like to run around and, pick them up, drive them into it, and yell, Cara Georgie, and put them all in the carriage corral. Because if I become a spectacle, a lot of people are going to remember that crazy guy who picked up all the carriages around the area and put them in the carriage corral when others wouldn't. And a lot of people just leave them. No, they get their groceries, shopping bags. Groceries is another word for groceries, whatever, out of the shopping cart, and they put it in their car, and they just leave the shopping cart in the parking space, and they drive off. And that to me is an indicator of a bad society, because just taking the shopping cart and moving it into the carriage corral is such a simple act. So for me, the most fun thing I can do is pick them all up and drive around and yell Cara Georgie. Oh yes, shopping cart orgy, and put them back. My wife doesn't like that, but that's neither here nor there. My wife doesn't have to like it because it's just me. Yeah, well, I'll pick them up and drive. I mean, a lot of times they'll send one of the kids out to, the shop boys to pick up the carriages, and here I am running around yelling Cara Georgie and, bringing them to them. But I think, honestly, my wife says, what if you know somebody? And I'm telling them, I think that if someone knows who I am and they see me doing that, they will not make the connection, because a lot of people are, if they are a carriage returner, they'll think it's funny because they return the carriage. But if the most likely, if they're not a carriage returner, shopping cart returner, they're going to phase me out because they are offended by what they've done, and I put it out into the universe. So I'm being ridiculous, and they will never notice that I'm the shopping cart orgy yeller. Or it's fun. Who cares? If they know who I am, they're just going to laugh about it. And that's the funny thing, is that in life, if you can't laugh at yourself, why are you laughing at anyone else? But that's just me. Oh, I don't want to go too far. Oh, what'd you say? 50 minutes? I took a long time with this one, didn't I? Yeah, I'll sum up, because really this whole video was not a very put together. And I also didn't, I was going to post a link to have any guests who come on, but that's too late now. I'm going to finish up my last one, that opportunities are everywhere once you are aligned with the joy-filled and positive energies. Because when shit hits the fan, if you are positive and joyful and compassionate and kind, opportunities will open themselves up. So I don't have a lot to say, I guess, except for everything I've said previously. If anyone happens to in the future be watching this video and you get anything from it, please make a comment, because I don't know what I did in this video. Why I went live today, I wanted to talk about being the villain in people's lives, and actually being a compassionate person by being the villain in people's lives, because I was thinking all about how in the past I've triggered people, but in the end they've been better for it. I had a friend and his wife who were having marital difficulties, and I just was me myself, and I did something to irritate the two of them. But by me irritating the two of them, they end up forming a new bond that they communicate. By being annoyed by me, they actually made a stronger bond. And they're still not talking to me, but that's not the point. Sometimes you got to lose friends for them to have a better life. That's just weird. But in the end, friends leave your life, but always leave the door open, so when they want to come back, you open your arms, like the prodigal son that Jesus talked about. It's not about how long they've been away. Unfortunately, you also have to be kind to the friends who stick around with you, because the prodigal son, there's a big door in the big stupid subject in the prodigal son thing, with the son who was with him the whole time that he kind of ignored for the one who came back. But maybe there's more to that story that we need to look into. And I got the Gnostic book. Where's the Gnostic? I don't have it. I had the big book. The big book. Where'd the big book go? Big book. I want to talk about the big book. Anyway, I have a giant book, Gnostic Gospels, and I just got it today. And now it's like this big. It's thick. I'm probably sitting on it. Not the point. The point is, the worst part of all this is I'm sober. I'm not on anything. I'm just off. I haven't had sleep for a little while. That's the point. But thank you all for coming. I'm sorry on my tangents. I'm sorry not being able to focus. If anyone's watching this in the future, leave a comment. Leave a criticism. Help me be better. Yes, Robert, I will join you tomorrow night. I'll be watching you with whatever you come up with. I always enjoy your content. And I will, whenever you come up with something you need a little help, a little research, I'll just type my little fingers and give you whatever I can figure out. That's one of my talents. I can find information. I'm good at finding information. It is one of my biggest talents, is people come to me, and I'm a troubleshooter, and I can always find the solution that people not see, but it's right there in front of you. Okay, 54 minutes. That's almost an hour. If you got something from this, wonderful. If you didn't get anything from it, I'm sorry. Maybe someday you will. Go out in the universe. Go out in your friendship. Be the energy you want to receive. Be the person you want to receive. And if you want to be miserable, be miserable, but just don't drag everyone else in your misery. Try to bring everyone up a little bit. So if you want to be miserable in your life, don't make everyone else miserable. Try to bring them up. So you can be miserable in your life, but try to bring those around you up. You know, and maybe in the end things will get better. Maybe they won't. Who knows? Okay. Most important thing, you can like a video, you can hate a video, but most important in the world, what's next? Bye.